It's Professor Davis, and I wanted to take a look at the topic checklist here for sections 2.3, 2.4, and 2.5. So let's take a look at that. Section 2.3 covers histograms. Now, remember in section 2.2 we talked about constructing a frequency distribution. That was a table of frequencies. And what we want to do is to make a picture of a frequency distribution, and that's what a histogram is. So the things to remember with the histogram is we want to use the class boundaries, not the class limits, on the horizontal axis, and we want to use the frequency or the relative frequency on the vertical axis. So we want to be able to construct a histogram, and also we want to compute the class width if we're given a histogram. And the way we do that is we could take the difference between any two consecutive lower class limits or upper class limits, and that would give us the class width. And we also want to be able to interpret a histogram, know which classes are the greatest, which are the least, what the sample size might be, the kind of things you could learn just from visual inspection of a histogram. Then section 2.4 is kind of a wrap-up on construction of various statistical graphs. So the kind of graphs we want to be able to do are first a frequency polygon. Frequency polygon is is used for a grouped frequency distribution like we would have for a histogram. Only on the horizontal axis we use the class midpoints instead of the class boundaries. Also, we want to be able to construct an ogive. That is a graph of the cumulative frequency, and so we'd want to be able to compute the cumulative frequency column for a frequency distribution, and then we use the class boundaries on the horizontal axis, and the cumulative frequencies are plotted on the vertical axis. And also we want to be able to do some of these ungrouped frequency distributions, the kind of distributions we would have for categorical data. For example, a bar graph, we'd want to be able to construct one of those. And also a Pareto chart. The distinguishing feature of the Pareto chart is that the rectangles are constructed in height of decreasing order. So we start with the class with the highest frequency and go down till we get the class with the lowest frequency. And then finally, kind of a cleanup section here in section 2.5 on critical thinking and what bad graphs are. So we'd want to look there. We'd want to take a look at the bad graphs that could result from a non-zero axis. In other words, an axis that leaves out a large part of the data and just shows, so to speak, the top of the rectangles of a histogram. And then finally, we want to identify misleading bar graphs, where area is used to mislead, and also pictographs where that same kind of thing applies. And so that'll finish off chapter 2 for us. So that's your topics checklist for sections 2.3, 2.4, and 2.5.